Shweta, you've not really spoken, rather we haven't given you a chance to speak, but you are such a storehouse of information, given that you travel and meet so many different people and have an insight into the way social systems are changing that few others do. So what would you like to speak?
Thank you so much. I thought I was really not required on the panel. But let me tell you, Kalyani ji, if I would have gotten the invite from either you or anybody from the panel, I would have declined this. Because of Sucheta ji, when I got this invite, and I know the background that she comes from, and when you talk about data, then, and I actually told Sucheta ji that I'm not coming before I read the book. And after I read the book, I'm extremely thankful that I came here. And the reason why I say this is, and thank you Vivek ji for just saying this, I've been wanting to say this for some time. I think we want to do this kind of research, this kind of analysis, because we believe in the institution of marriage. And we are discussing this because we want to upkeep it. That's the first thing. So let's keep this in mind, that I personally speak for myself. I'm a firm believer of the institution of marriage. Second, Kalyani ji, with total and due respect, for a title called When Love is Lost, I'm also a firm believer of the fact that love can never be lost. Because it is not love that binds a husband and a wife. Please. Love is what binds you with your child. Love is what binds you with your mom. Love is what binds you with your God. But definitely, I think every successful marriage is a marriage. And in Muslim law, every marriage is a contract, right? Every successful marriage is a marriage that works on partnership. Now when we talk about equality, and we've heard the definition of equality and all of that, I personally feel that it is not love that binds. It could be between husband and wife, it could be attraction, it could be lust, it could be termed as respect for all that you know. And that could be attraction, could be admiration, but it's definitely not love. So the fact is, when we talk about this partnership, there are certain effects that come with this partnership. And in this partnership, and why do you call it an institution? I come from an entrepreneurial world before I stepped into the public world. In a partnership, the law is very, very clear. You have equal rights. And law is equally clear. I don't care which gender you are. The problem today is that our society is changing faster than the lawmakers are changing, and the understanding of the lawmakers are changing. Now it is on the onus of people like Sucheta ji to come back with a complete analysis, and that's exactly what we would want it to be. Because with the complete analysis, we would want to change the laws. In your book, you've written that, the divorce rates in India is 1.1%. But it is 1.1% of the people who are married. It is 0.01% of the population. And we are the lowest in the globe. Across the globe, the divorce rates are about 1.8%. And the state that we are sitting in, we are 18.7% divorce rates of the people who are married. And in urban areas like Mumbai and Pune, it is about 25%. So yes, is it a concern? Yes, it is a concern. Do we need to address it? Yes, we need to address it. But the fact is, how do we need to address this? First and foremost, it's a societal problem. And we need to address it at home. And not in the way we bring up our girls. We need to address it in the way we bring up the boys. And second, and the most important thing is, women need to pinpoint. Now, this Indradhanush Hall is a government hall, right? It is made by the government. Government has maximum men. Somebody who designed this hall never thought that a woman wearing a sari will have to climb up. Now when you put up your sari and climb up this stage, it doesn't look very graceful, but nobody thought about it. So now if I am in the government, I need to pinpoint and say, boss, this is not right. You have to make it for women. Because there are going to be more women. There is only one man here. Everyone else. And 3 of us in majority are wearing a sari. Now, that's exactly what I say. People, sentiments, emotions and society is much, much, much faster than the lawmakers. And we understand this. As policy makers, we understand this. But thankfully, we are a government which will say, okay, please come back, tell us what needs to be done. Now, when you say that IT folks do mutual divorce, and my problem with the lawyers, pardon me, all the lawyers, I'm also studying law, I've passed out first year, so I'm also going to be a would-be lawyer soon. But then, my problem with the lawyers, and especially lawyers in the family court, is because there is nothing called as no fault divorce legal law which is available in the Western world. What we do is we are criminalizing it even if we don't want to. Or maybe what we are primarily saying is that he was cruel to me. The problem here is that a woman, when she gets into this partnership, one, does she know her rights then? We are talking about counseling. It is still emotional, physical, spiritual counseling. But does somebody legally counsel her? If I'm in a partnership, what is the point if I'm getting an asset which is a house? It is on the institution, right? So it has to be borne by both of us. If both of us are working, then we both put our money. If we are not, one of us are working at home and one outside, then it better be shared between the two of us. Now this is basic. Now these are the things with changing times we need to inculcate in the processes of marriage. Very simple. You know the amount of thalassemia cases that are increasing in India? Why? Because minor thalassemias, when they kind of marry, the child is a major thalassemia patient. Now, because we do not believe in pre-marriage counseling, because we don't believe in pre-marriage checkups, medical checkups, it really does not happen. Because it is not there in our mindset, it is not there in our society. So yes, coming back to divorces, see, I personally feel this. Exception can never be a rule. And every individual, every marriage, every partnership is individual in its own aspect. So it is very difficult as a lawyer to kind of say that, okay, this is the history, this is the rule book. No, each case is different. I personally feel that, you know, when adultery in Joseph Sinai versus Union of India, when adultery was decriminalized, and yet it was and it is still a ground for divorce, the message was very clear that yes, adultery is happening, but you cannot stand it and you want a divorce, you stand up and say, this is why I need a divorce, and it will still stand, we will still stand by you. Question is that, okay, one last thing that has been discussed quite as much is about men's rights. And I think Vivekji said it, I have been wanting to say this for some time. For law, gender does not matter. Law is equal for everyone. And it should be equal for everyone. But the fact is, the knowledge of law is not equal for everyone. So let's understand this, that as parents, as aggrieved parents, when you go to a lawyer and the lawyer teaches you that you cannot get divorced any other way and you can't get revenge any other way. One, delay the process. In any case, if you delay it, the judge will delay it further. The processes will be delayed further. And do XYZ things. Now there are multitude of cases like this. So where I stand at a center of center as a centrist, there are only three things that I can say. One, I firmly believe in the institution called marriage. But the face of this institution is changing. The shape of this institution is changing. And so are the men and women. It's unfortunate that as women also, we are only bringing up boys. And boys in a marriage, you need men in a marriage. Neither girls nor boys. You need men and women who can adjust. Now, when you are doing second, a lot of people here said that yes, remarriage counseling has to be mandatory. Yes, it has to be. But one of the things that has to be told to both men and women is that it is important that we compromise. I compromise with when I used to run a startup, we were 900 people. You think I have never compromised with my boss? You think I have never compromised with my subordinate? You think I have never compromised with my maid servant who works for me? I pay for her. I do. She doesn't turn up. I have an important meeting. I have to go and she has not come. So I call her, no, you come for 1 hour. I will put the switch on the machine. So I always tell this to other women who meet me, who are facing trouble in their marriages. I always say this. मेरे अपने पेट से निकले हुए बच्चे कई बार मुझसे अग्री नहीं करते हैं. कई बार क्या, अधिकतर समय मुझसे अग्री नहीं करते. तो दूसरे के पेट से निकले हुए बच्चे से मैं कैसे एक्सपेक्ट कर सकती हूँ कि वो मुझे 100% टाइम अग्री करे. So the idea is very, very clearly. Sometimes you agree, sometimes I agree. And this partnership is what is marriage. And I still feel that marriages are one of the most beautiful things. But yes, because we are talking about why do marriages fail, one of the most important reasons, and I will list 5 of them. One of the most important reasons is that women have advanced in our society more than men have. So women have seen the world, they step out, they mature fast, they have expectations of a different level, but men are still stuck 10 years behind. So we as mothers need to buckle up and ensure that men and we as partners need to buckle up. I think conversation is most important, right? Second, why I see most marriages failing is interference. And most importantly, when there is a partnership, it is important that I have equal respect. And first rule of equal respect is we need to sit down and discuss our issues. Go back and see, okay, because we are talking numbers, let's, I think Ramaji spoke about 498 and acquittals. We also have numbers of false 498. False 498. And the best thing that you need to study is the number of women in urban areas who put 498 to rural areas who put 498. You know, you'll be surprised, but 69% of 498 cases are only urban. Does that click to you? But yes, on the other hand, this is also true. You know what is the most successful policy of women empowerment today proven by the Modi government? It is a simple policy called kerosene ban. So kerosene got banned and statistically all of a sudden, the number of rural deaths in women and fires got reduced. The kerosene was banned for certain different reasons, and policymakers never understood that the fringe benefit is going to be that women could now no longer be so easily set on fire. Do you know that 60% of fire cases or accidental fire cases are not accidental fire cases in the rural areas? So these are also harsh realities, and the fact remains that we cannot have exception as the rule. So when we study data, we study the data to ensure and realize that, okay, so if this is the problem, first ban kerosene. So after kerosene, everything else that was there to ensure that acid attack is so easy, fire attack is so easy, were banned legally. Third, and again extremely critical point, is in a partnership, why I personally feel that marriages are failing is because earlier on, when marriages used to happen, was a gullible age. Today, when men and women are getting married, then the age is not gullible. So compromise becomes slightly difficult. And hence there is a need of pre-counseling. Pre-marriage counseling, which talks about the fact that you will have to compromise. It's not going to be that easy. And trust me, we all compromise. Fourth, and this is only for the women. Women cannot be empowered because women are already empowered. They have the power within. I have never seen my father deciding his shirt on his own. He always wore the shirt that my mom pressed and kept on the bed, that this is the shirt he's going to my schools, the meals that we will carry, my tiffins, everything was managed by my mother. So my mother was empowered, she was a housewife. And I still firmly believe that the products, the companies, the enterprises that I made has never been better than the product that she made. Because she made me. And last but not the least, for the men. For the men, women are not fighting a battle. And for you, Vivek ji, women are not fighting a battle which is man versus woman. I am fighting a battle for equal opportunities. I am fighting a battle which talks about the fact that if I am successful, you as another man or maybe another woman can't turn around and tell me that, okay, so who looks after the children? So it is these questions from the men that we do not want. This is equal opportunity. Equal opportunity in front of law, equal opportunity in front of the society, equal opportunity in ensuring that I get rest as much as you get rest. Equal opportunity in saying that if I have given childbirth, you are still responsible for growing up the child, because it is also an asset which is equally shared between you and me. And hence I firmly believe that there needs to be more that needs to be done by the men, the women, the society as a whole, and absolutely by the lawmakers. But we need the right data, but we cannot lose hope, because India is not a society that can be characterized by statistics. We have always failed statistics. We are a society which stands between individualism and collectivism, right at the center. We are a society that stands between socialism and capitalism, right at the center of the matrix. Because in India, we believe that what I bring to the table is my individual effort, and that's exactly what I bring to the partnership. To the partnership, I bring my value system. And when I marry a partner, when I marry a person, when I marry a man, I'm marrying somebody who understands that I will come with my pluses, my minuses, but what I will do is add value to what he does not have. Without me, he cannot think of that growth together. That's why partnerships happen. Otherwise, there are proprietorships in the world, right? But partnerships happen because we need to complement, and that I feel Indian society understands the best. हमारे लिए तो वसुधैव ही कुटुंबकम है, तो जो अपना कुटुंब है उस कुटुंब को पकड़ के रखने की जिम्मेदारी एक जिम्मेदार व्यक्ति के पास तो होती ही है, लेकिन when me turns into we, that is what is a successful marriage. And I personally feel that more the we is understood between the man and the woman, I think that is when the right kind of equality will happen and the right kind of success in marriages will be seen. Thank you so much.